Okay, so this is the last video in the mixing series. I was going to do like a series on this section, but there actually isn't like much processing here at all. Because a lot of these are already processed samples. Because effects are like only like a second sometimes. It's best just to use processed samples just to maintain the creative process so you can move on to the next thing. Because ideas come and go like crazy, especially when I'm creating. But I tend to just have my own projects for creating my own effects, where I'll just make like 20 effects in one project, save them, and then use them later on. So I'm working on a big sample pack at the moment where I've got effects like these, just on their own. But let's just go through them anyway. But this one here has an effect. Let's solo it. So this is from the... So that's from the original song. I can talk through a bit of the creative process here. So I basically just put effects near towards ends of things. So this is the end of the break before the build. That was a stem as well. That was from the original stem. That was from a stem as well. So I actually use a lot of the effects from the original song. But for like the main elements, I alter them a lot. So you don't really hear that. That's an original one as well. I think that was used as a fill-in, and I just cut that out and put it in somewhere, but ended up turning it down. Oh yeah, that's an original as well. So that's just before the break. I like to have elements in my remixes or productions where it's just like the atmosphere and effects. So right after the break, right after the drop, when the drop finishes. So everything like fades out. You just hear the effects and the atmosphere. You see how much of the dynamics I'm controlling, because this gets really loud, and as it gets louder, it takes up more of the space. So the way I've processed it is, as it gets louder, it maintains the same level. So yeah, you see this element still, you can still hear it, and it still has like the same effect, but the other effects are like, or the other elements are coming in just before the drop. And so these effects I've already played. They're like one-off effects that are already processed. So yeah, like, I know there's processing on this effect, but I'm just like altering it. I'm not really changing it creatively. Yeah, that was from the stem as well. from the original song. Atmospheres, this is all mainly stuff from samples that I have. So I like to have a lot of atmospheres just because it sets the scene. It doesn't, and it can make a production like not sound dead. Because it's basically all the lower dynamics, and if there's no lower dynamics and it's just silent, then I've noticed in my productions that they can sound a bit dead. So because this is white noise throughout, the same white noise. I actually made this in in FL Studio, and I have complete control of the white noise. That's why I like to make my own white noise. End effects. This is from the stem, and I just drowned it in reverb. So I drowned the ending of the song in reverb. This is like a really low. So sometimes I like to do alterations of drop sounds or intro sounds. So there's this sine effect at the drop. Oh, it's really nice to have the project organized so I know where everything is. So I made that in Serum, but for this effects is just like 4 or 5 octaves down, and you really hear it in this part here. So after the drop. So yeah, I really like that effect. So yeah, that's a tip. Just create variations or atmosphere variations of stuff you already have to make the lower dynamics like really fitting. So this is just like a hit that goes on every now and then. This was actually, so some of these elements were really loud, and I just re-leveled them. You can see there's a lot of leveling here. So -7. Normally, a lot of them have been like -10, so that's -3. So yeah, because these are already processed, it's just leveling, really. And this compressor, all it's really doing is controlling the level, because it's so dynamic. And then I've got changing the level of the whole group. So yeah, that's everything. Just wanted to go through that last part quickly, but show you how it is useful to know how I've laid out the atmospheres and the effects. And then I explained why I use them, because they're lower dynamics mainly, and to help create interest in transitional parts. So yeah, that's everything in the mixing. So yeah, I'll see you in the next series where I'll be talking through the creative process in FL Studio. Alright, see you.
Get out of here, Daddy! No! Bad Daddy. Oh, Jesus, Ash's behind us. I don't know what to do. Gotcha, bitch. Oh, I didn't kill you. Oh, no.
Shit. How we know each other?
This has been the least productive night I've had since I got this.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, you gotta admit, it's probably been one of the funnest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Oh, I got the last gunpowder out.
Get out of here.
I love how it like started off all like okay too. Like we're just gonna go quickly do this fort and then we're gonna go do missions.
Oh, you got yourself.
Oh god.
I'm on
I was
shit
trying to
hell.
get you.
Look at my stream, I'm on shit hell. Oh, there's a place.
Or putting them on the point of a sloop, as someone proved to us tonight.
Oh, the fuck.
Really, coming back.
Yeah, I just watched the stream.